recovery. And right now, I'm joined by Anders Lindgren, who's the CEO of Safal Group. Over 60 years, this company has been in existence. So, looking at recovery of the manufacturing sector, so far, how's the sector, recovering, you being a practitioner in manufacturing?
Well, construction sector was probably anticipated to be somewhere in the middle hit during this crisis. I think we've done better. Safal Group has done substantially better than anticipated. When we looked at the situation by March last year, we were seriously worried and thought that we would come in a very difficult period. Fortunately, construction has gone on, projects been continuing, as we have a high share on the residential market, that has still continued to go forward. So we had a much better year last year than anticipated, very much also due to cutting costs very early, making sure that we took good care of our employees.
Definitely, that's very important. You say one of the trends that you've just noted in what you've said, construction is still growing, especially in the residential sector. We looked at the commercial space, bit of the, especially real estate sector and construction in general, really hard amidst the COVID-19. Now, looking at the trends that have come up from over the past 1 year in this pandemic period, what are some of those that might redefine construction sector moving forward?
For us, we have very different mix of our business between different parts of the group. In Kenya, fortunately, during a period like this, we have much more residential construction than we actually have projects, where we, for example, in South Africa, it's the other way around. Residential tended to keep much more stable during the period. On the other hand, of course, there were a lot of delays on projects where we, for example, saw on our pre-engineered building side went down much more in volume than what happened on the residential side.
Okay, so it's balancing off. So looking at the regulatory environment, I've just had a discussion on the other half, and we're comparing, for example, the real estate between Kenya and Dubai, and these cost variations. Looking at the 8 markets that you're in, how's the regulatory environment? Has it changed with the onset of COVID-19 to enable business for you?
No, I don't. No, it hasn't changed any dramatic way. The biggest issues for us during the period has been more around, more practical sides, like if you look at supply chain, moving goods between, the different markets and so forth. I think on the regulatory market, of course, some of the tax things helped us a bit, but otherwise, we had bigger issues to handle than what actually was on the regulatory side during this period.
Okay, and looking at some of the agendas that these countries you're in have, for example, in Kenya, affordable housing, looking at the sector that you play in is a key component in enabling this national agenda of affordable housing. Just from your observation and the trends as we move along, how exactly are you enabling, these markets to achieve some of these agendas that they have set?
Yeah, I mean, the different ways of doing that. One thing is, of course, to make sure that we in the portfolio have, we both have high-end roofing, we also have the low-end roofing to be able to cater to the lower end of the market. In addition to that, something that we're driving very hard today is prefabricated building, where we actually fabricate the building in our own factories and then ship them out as basically as kits, as modular kits, which you can assemble in a place. And within that concept, we can do affordable housing in kits that actually then can cater to this segment very, very well over time. And I think that development is very interesting because it will really speed up the efforts in that area.
Definitely, and as we close up, your projections for the sector in the near term, what does the sector look in, especially be specific, the Kenyan market?
Well, I think we have seen very good growth. I think we have a lot of potential in many, many areas. I mean, we work with areas, as I said, on the pre-engineered building. We work with solar going forward. We work in many different areas of seeing that we strengthen the portfolio. And there is a lot of opportunities in Kenya, East Africa, and also in South Africa. The challenges we have today is that steel prices has tend to become very, very high today. So that's one of the challenges. On the other hand, we're very welcoming, development that we can see between countries like between Kenya and Tanzania, which probably will help a lot there going forward. And I mean, many of the other markets, if you take, for example, opportunities in DRC or in South Sudan, I think we have many opportunities there. So, from our side, from the Safal Group side and from MRM here in Mabati Roll Mills here in Kenya, we see plentiful of opportunities of actually adding more value in what we're doing and better cater to the needs of the consumers in this market.
Well, thank you very much. Anders Lindgren is the CEO of Safal Group, giving us the insight in regards to the business operations here in Kenya in the construction sector and the projections that he's given us, quite positive projections right there. Thank you, sir, for your